The last notion I want to discuss is when we add into another person, our footwork determines the relationship of balance between the two of us. And this forms the integral concept as we segue into joint mass center. Footwork is a product of the act of balancing. I don't want you to view footwork as a series of tactical options. Guess what? It's biomotor. Just like range, footwork is not tactical, it's biomotor. In this instance, our footwork is a chess game of hiding our triangle point. He is trying to bring us to that decisive moment where he can calculate the formula of bringing us to our triangle. Correct? Okay. Let's have a system of maneuvers with our lower body that conceals that triangle point as much as possible. The more complex for him, the less easy it's going to be for him to manipulate us to that point. So the first we're going to start with is a box step. A box step is starting with not two-dimensional motor, but like we discussed, at 45-degree angles, outward 90 degrees to your opposite instep. This is your saunter, your casual gait. The box step is going to be concealing behind and out, in front, behind, and out. I'm going to give you a couple different angles on this, but this is a good warm-up drill to work your pelvis. Now, the conventional grapevine, many wrestling, whether scholastic or collegiate, they'll teach this grapevine. Back and forth. Grapevine. Back and forth. However, what's happening? Triangle point, triangle point, triangle point, triangle point. It's always in the direction that you're heading. What that means is sweeps are rather simple on wrestlers. Posts, trips, reaps, hooks. A talented wrestler of any brand conceals that point of imbalancing. So when you work on your triangle point, it's depending on your pelvis to change the position of your triangle. The box step is the ability to keep that in stasis so that you're moving in a relatively small confine, keeping your triangle point always vacillating so that he never has control of it. That's the first footwork. The second is we work from here, 90 degrees to our other instep. If we are to step forward, it's not going to be thusly, like we discussed. The same thing is going to be true when we step to the side. We're not gross two-dimensional creatures, uncoordinated people. Coordination is not something that you learn. Coordination is something you unlearn. We unlearn how to be coordinated. If we step to the side, we're not going to be keeping our triangle point in front of us while we're on one leg. We're going to turn the foot askance, elevate the pelvis, which is going to bring your foot off the ground. Your heel rises, then we continue. Weight transfer, pelvis, out. Weight transfer, pelvis, out. From this point, as you're moving, you're not shuffling. These are where people get launched in the air for grand flight lessons. It's too gross. Gross, not as in ugly, you know what I mean. From here, heel up, transfer, out. Weight transfer, out. Weight transfer, out. So everything is coming from the pelvis. You're not losing that tactile awareness of your terrain, whether it be outside or on the mat in a competitive environment. It's your pelvis that's the generator. Always screwing into the ground. If we add in a partner and we discuss the box step and then this linear shuffle using the pelvis as the generator, the box step, like you saw in our leg fencing drill, The box step conceals around. Now, how many of us from conventional training know this T-step entry? And right back and forth. And we drill this T-step ad nauseum. The T-step is a distended motion of the box step. The T-step concludes, the box step never does. The T-step is inefficient because it's meant to end motion. The box step continues by manipulating his motion in concert with his. So you're constantly concealing. As you move grips, you're trying to vie and feel where we're going. So you have this delicate play where you're working back and forth. Now when we discuss this lateral shuffle, where it's the pelvis generator, so we grab a hold of each other, and as we work laterally, as we're switching grasps and changing relationships, we're not hopping. To keep in concert with the ground and feel exactly what's going on. There's a slow tilting of the pelvis. This is why this pelvis generator is a renovation on the shuffle, just as the box step is a renovation on the T-step.